Imagine this. A quiet afternoon and a peaceful floor of the neighborhood is shattered by the sudden, sharp sound of a gunshot. Neighbors freeze mid-conversation, birds scatter, and an eerie silence settles in. But what follows next is even more shocking. A 2-year-old boy named Justin, innocent and full of life, becomes the center of a horrifying accident that no one saw coming. Before we dive into the details of this heart-stopping story, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss stories that make you pause, reflect, and share your thoughts. Now, let's get into it. It was a typical Thursday afternoon in West Little River, Miami-Dade. The Florida sun hung heavy in the sky, casting long shadows over the neighborhood as people went about their day. In one backyard, Raul Pozo, a proud grandfather, was busy helping his son prepare for a fishing trip. So the hymn of daily life was punctuated only by the occasional laughter of children playing and the distant roar of traffic. No one could have predicted the chaos that was about to unfold. Justin, the 2-year-old at the center of this story, was in the backyard with his father. His bright eyes scanned the scene, filled with the boundless curiosity that only a toddler can have. His father was focused on cleaning their boat, ensuring every detail was ready for the next day's fishing adventure. Among the supplies laid out, unnoticed in the flurry of preparation, was a flare gun, an essential tool for safety on the water but a potential hazard in the wrong hands. In the blink of an eye, Justin's small hands found the flare gun. To him, it must have looked like a toy, something new and exciting. Without understanding the danger, he grabbed it. The next moments would become a blur of shock and panic. A sudden, loud bang echoed through the neighborhood. It was quick, sharp, and unmistakable. Neighbors close enough to hear the sound later described it as an explosion that made their hearts skip a beat. A nearby Ring doorbell camera caught the noise, a sound that would haunt those who replayed it in their minds. Raul Pozo's heart sank when he turned to see Justin, eyes wide with a mixture of fear and surprise. The flare had discharged, burning his tiny finger and grazing his chest. The flash of light, the heat, and the sudden pain could have sent any child into hysteria. But in an astonishing show of resilience, Justin remained calm. No tears fell from his eyes as Raul scooped him up, his mind racing with fear and regret. The response was immediate. A call was made to emergency services, and within minutes, the air was filled with the whir of helicopter blades. Justin was airlifted to the hospital, every second feeling like an eternity for his family. He was listed in critical condition, but doctors were hopeful. The flare had burned him, but mercifully it had not caused irreversible damage. As the news of the accident spread, neighbors gathered in hushed groups. Their eyes darted toward the house where the tragedy had unfolded. They spoke in whispers, sharing what they knew and speculating about the details. But one thing was certain, this was an accident that could have happened to any family, a chilling reminder of how quickly a normal day could take a turn for the worst. For those unfamiliar, a flare gun might look harmless, a bright orange tool, often mistaken for a toy by those who don't know better. But it is a VEDS device, a visual distress signal that releases flares, blanks, or smoke to alert others of an emergency on the water. In Florida, where boating is a beloved pastime, such tools are common and required by law when sailing in coastal waters like the Atlantic Ocean or the Gulf of Mexico. But while they are vital for safety, flare guns can be dangerous if mishandled. Unlike traditional firearms, they aren't bound by the same storage laws in Florida. State law mandates that firearms must be kept in locked containers or secured with trigger locks to prevent accidents. However, since flare guns are not classified as firearms, they don't fall under these strict regulations. It's a gap that turned a harmless day into a nightmare for Justin's family. Raul Pozo, still reeling from the events, called it a terrible accident when speaking to reporters. But he recounted the moments after the flare went off, how Justin, miraculously, stayed composed despite the injury. The grandfather's voice trembled as he spoke of the guilt and helplessness that weighed on him. Yet amidst the fear and uncertainty, there was hope. Reports from the hospital indicated that Justin was expected to recover and might be back home soon. The incident became a wake-up call for the community. Conversations shifted from casual greetings to discussions about child safety and the unexpected dangers that everyday items can pose. Parents double-checked their own backyards and boats, ensuring that tools and devices were out of reach of little hands. This wasn't the first time such an accident had happened. Just a month before, a 5-year-old boy in Wichita, Kansas had accidentally fired a flare gun in a car while his mother stepped outside to talk to his grandmother. The boy suffered head injuries and burns when the flare hit his forehead and the car caught fire. He, too, was fortunate to make a recovery, but the incidents served as stark reminders of the risks involved. Stories like Justin's highlight how quickly life can change and the importance of vigilance, especially with children. The days following the accident were tense for Justin's family. The sterile, bright halls of the hospital became a second home as they sat by his bedside, watching every rise and fall of his small chest. The doctors monitored him closely, ensuring there were no complications from the burns or any underlying issues that might emerge. Justin's resilience amazed everyone. The toddler's bright spirit seemed unbreakable even as bandages covered his tiny chest and hand. Nurses would walk in to find him, giving them shy smiles, a glimmer of the playful boy that had momentarily been shadowed by the accident. But while Justin's physical recovery was progressing, the emotional scars left on his family ran deep. Raul couldn't shake the feeling of guilt. He replayed the moment over and over in his mind, wondering if he could have done anything to prevent it. His son, Justin's father, struggled with his own burden of regret, haunted by the fact that he hadn't noticed the flare gun left within reach. They spoke in low voices late into the night, comforting each other in the only way they knew how, by promising to be more vigilant and to turn this tragedy into a lesson. Word spread quickly about Justin's recovery. Neighbors who had once been casual acquaintances showed up at the hospital with cards, gifts, and meals. The neighborhood felt an unspoken unity, drawn together by the collective fear of what could have been a far worse outcome. Mrs. Patel from next door organized a small fundraiser to help cover any medical costs that insurance might not fully take care of. "We're all parents, grandparents, or siblings," she said, her voice trembling as she spoke at the small gathering in front of Justin's house. "This is a reminder that we need to look out for each other." For the first time, Raul felt the weight of community support lifting some of the guilt off his shoulders. The reminders that accidents could happen to anyone, no matter how careful, resonated deeply. The Pozo family promised to use their story to educate others about safety precautions, especially involving tools that seemed harmless but could turn dangerous in an instant. The story of Justin's accident gained traction beyond the local news. It caught the attention of state lawmakers who were prompted to re-examine regulations surrounding REDS devices like flare guns. Discussions began about amending safety laws, suggesting that flare guns be stored with similar caution as firearms in locked cases, out of children's reach. "So we can't ignore this," said State Representative Maria Torres in a press conference. "These devices are meant for safety, but if mishandled, they can become dangerous. We owe it to families like Justin's to make sure accidents like this are prevented." The Pozo family was invited to share their experience at a state hearing, where Raul spoke, his voice steady but filled with emotion. He recounted the day of the accident, the lessons learned, and the resilience shown by Justin. His testimony, raw and heartfelt, struck a chord with everyone in attendance. The day Justin returned home from the hospital was met with a mixture of joy and apprehension. Family members decorated the house with balloons and signs that read, "Welcome home, Justin." The toddler's eyes lit up as he was carried inside, the warmth of familiar surroundings making him giggle despite the bandages still wrapped around his chest. The neighborhood gathered to welcome him, clapping and cheering as he smiled shyly from his grandfather's arms. Raul, holding Justin close, felt a deep gratitude wash over him. The guilt that had once threatened to consume him was now tempered by the understanding that life could change in an instant, but love and community could heal even the deepest wounds. In the months that followed, the Pozo family took on a new mission. They partnered with local safety organizations to host workshops on the proper storage of boating equipment and the hidden dangers that come with it. Raul spoke at schools, community centers, and safety fairs, sharing Justin's story not as a tale of tragedy, but as a reminder of vigilance and the strength that comes from facing life's unexpected challenges. Justin, now fully recovered, became a symbol of resilience in the community. His bright laughter once again echoed through the neighborhood as he played with friends, and the Pozo family's yard was filled with life and joy, a stark contrast to the somber days following the accident. This story, while heart-wrenching, serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of safety and the boundless capacity for hope and healing. Justin's journey from a tragic accident to a symbol of resilience touched everyone around him. The Pozo family's experience led to tangible change in the community and served as a testament to the power of unity, love, and learning from even the most difficult moments. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more stories that inspire reflection and action. Thank you for being a part of this journey with us.